And then I came back in. 12 years and counting now, so only 8 more till retirement.
Man, that's interesting. Is that something that's normal for people to get out and then get back in?
It happens a lot. So right now, my position in the Army, I'm a recruiter.
Okay.
So I'm doing this job now for the rest of my career. But we see it a lot. A lot of people that join the Army, they get out, or other branches as well, and then they go back in the civilian world, and then they just miss the Army, or they miss the military in general. Some people it's the lifestyle. Some people could be the benefits. Some people it's the friends you make. Everyone's purpose and reason is different.
What would you say is the best thing about being in the Army?
For me personally, I love the discipline aspect behind it that it created. I say now I joined the Army at 17. From 17 to 21, I changed drastically. From 21 to 25, I've changed drastically. Even from 25 to 30, I'm 30 now. I've changed drastically. And I think a lot of that has been due to the positions I have in the military, and the discipline that they instilled in me.
Yeah, it's one of those things like it. I think you take for granted when you aren't in a structured environment like that, because someone like you who went in it had that structured environment, then went out of it. Now you have this whole freedom to kind of do whatever. I almost like appreciate the routine of life sometimes when you have stuff like that you can just, it's just thoughtless. You know what your day consists of. It might get boring to an extent. I'm sure not so much in the Army, but like in a normal day-to-day life. But I need structure in my life, man, because if not, I might get in trouble.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I think the biggest difference for me was in the civilian world, for example, like in the Army, right? Listen, you got to be somewhere at 6 o'clock. You got to show up 15 minutes early. When I had my civilian job, I was the first one there every day, and we started work at 9. People were rolling at 9 o'clock, and that was weird. It was weird for me. And again, it's not for everyone. I joined the Army at a very young age, so it's kind of all I knew. But I always say it's the best decision I made, and I always say the Army has done more for me than I could ever do for it. So.
Yeah, they say if you're on time, you're late, right?
Correct. Yeah, early on time, you're late.
There it is. Well, obviously, with the Army comes PT, comes strength, comes endurance, comes a lot of different aspects of fitness. Obviously, there's more to being enlisted and being in a military service than just the fitness part, but it does play a big role. So for you, you're a strength specialist in the league with the Wolves. Was the Army the catalyst to get you into strength, or were you into sports and that was just something that you did prior to and you continued as you were enlisted in the Army?
No, I would say I was always been an athlete and athletic, but into lifting and fitness, absolutely not. The Army got me there. And honestly, I wouldn't say it's the Army per se, because the Army, a lot of it is just like, running, push-ups, sit-ups, calisthenic stuff. It was the people I was surrounded with. So when I was in Korea at the time, one of my buddies over there, he was a big power lifter. And when I got there, I wanted to take the gym seriously. And I said, on this rotation I'm in, I'm going to take the gym seriously, my diet seriously. I'm going to be the biggest guy by the time I leave here. And then when I did research, I realized there's a lot more that goes into being the size of some of these big guys. Not necessarily I wanted to do, right? So then I went down the route. My buddy's like, hey, why don't you try powerlifting? So that's what I started to do. That's why I started training there, and I fell in love with it. And that kind of just took me along the journey. I powerlifted for a while. COVID happened, and then I got linked. Me and my wife watched the Strongman documentary, and I was like, man, that would be fun to do. I have never done a Strongman competition, and I had a home gym, and then the whole time in COVID, I started training Strongman. And then when the world opened back up, I just started competing. And then I just took off from there.
So that's why I see a lot of axle bar stuff and this crazy stuff on social media that people have posted or you have posted. Now, you talk about fitness, you talk about this strength and the strongman aspect, later as you get into the Army. Where does grid find you? Like how, or did you know about it prior to even being approached by anybody to come to a combine?
So it's funny. I saw grid maybe like 5 years ago, and I saw a clip on it on social media, and in like a 10-minute span, and I watched the video on YouTube, and in a 10-minute span, I saw heavy squats and some chick doing backflips. And I was like, what the hell is going on? right? So I was like, trying to watch a match, but to be honest with you, I didn't understand it. And I was like, all right, this is crazy. So I turned it off. And then I would say, I don't know how long you've been associated with Grid for, but one of my old coaches, strongman coach Anthony Furman, was actually on the Sharks at one year. And ironically enough, I did a CrossFit competition where we had to do snatches. Now, I don't have no idea how to snatch at this time, right? So I was literally just muscling it. And Anthony Furman went through and did the snatch ladder, and he literally just muscled all the whole way through, right? He's a strong dude. And he was America's strongest man twice for 105 kilograms and under. And people were sending me that clip, and they were like, yo, this is you. And I'm like, ironically enough, that's my coach. So I started watching Grid a little bit more. And then when I met Sam through the gym I go to here in Long Island. So I've known Sam for a while. I did a couple of Sam host Fight for the Fittest every year. Fantastic competition, by the way. So if you're in the Long Islands or in the surrounding area, highly recommend you compete in it. Best competition I've ever done. But when he reached out to me, said he was part of this Grid team, I looked into it and I was like, I think this is something that I can do. I really consider myself like a hybrid athlete because I'm strong, but I'm also quick. I'm not when you do strongman competition, I'm not the strongest guy there, but I'm pretty fast with some of the implements. So I think I make a perfect athlete for the Grid environment.
So how do we go from, okay, I know Sam, I know about Grid, to I'm on the Wolves? Is it a combine? Was it Sam saying, hey, Brandon, you're coming here and you're going to do this? Because I feel like Sam's got a way. He's just kind of like, he's one of those guys that you just like to listen to for whatever reason. He's a smart guy. He's very good at what he does. And he loves fitness. So it's really hard not to, like, if he says do something, to not do it,
Yeah, for sure. He reached out to me. There was a combine. So I went to the combine. One thing I can say about Sam is he's not going to do you any favors because he knows you, right? You're going to have to earn your spot, right? And I respect that about him.
Yeah.
So I went to so
see him?
yeah.
He's keeping tabs on it. He said
Right.
he said that you weren't paid to say that. So
yeah, no. So Sam is not that guy to do you a favor, right? You have to earn your spot. So when it came time for the combine, I went out there. One thing about me, I absolutely love competing, right? I love competing. So to me, that was great. The first combine we did, it was filled with a lot of great athletes. Again, a different experience for me, right? We had guys that we were doing 315 squats as fast as we can, and then the guy behind me was doing backflips. So something I never really experienced before, but it was an awesome experience, an awesome time.
It's very unique. The sport itself is just, you can take very specialized people and they have they're super important to this sport. And it takes a team of people to be able to be very good. For you, when you go to the combine, when do you know, because I would have to say, if you're back squatting 315 and you're doing it for reps, I've seen it in mirror races before. It's impressive. The weight that guys can move and girls can move as fast as they do. It's just impressive. So at what point in this combine do you go, yeah, I'm probably going to be on this team? Or did they have to really talk to you, or was it so competitive that you didn't really know?
I felt really good after the back squat. I think I did the 315 for 10 in about 17 to 18 seconds. So when I finished that and I re-racked it, I turned around, I kind of saw some of the faces in the room, and I was like, okay, I feel like now I made a name for myself. I just can't mess it up from here, right? And I did some other stuff, some of the thruster ladders and stuff. I will say the one thing is the Olympic lifts is something I personally need to work on. It's not something I've done a lot in the past, but I'm training it now, and I have no doubt that by the time the next season rolls around, I'll be ready to go. It's just that's more just a technique and a form thing. I gotta hunker down.
Do you think you mentioned you saw Grid? Do you think you would have ever played or been a part of a Grid team had it not been for New York reaching out?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't think I would be able to compete at that level. Even now, it's still kind of surreal. It doesn't seem real that I'm on this. Like I'm on a team, a league. So I still hasn't fully hit me. But I would have never thought to try out because let's be honest, some of these guys and girls on these teams, they're monsters, right? Even like, and I don't mean like just big in size. Even your discipline, right? Your gymnastics, your bodyweight specialists, you got absolute killers out there. And I never thought that I'd be able to hang with those guys and girls, but Sam, Lexi, and Jen have the trust and faith in me, so I'm gonna put the work in and make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I asked that question just because it just shows us like how important and how vital it is for the league itself to branch out and grow. We've seen a big growth over the past couple years, and a lot of that, is the owners and coaches that are currently in the league that are still owners and coaches in the league, and the players as well. But also now it's this, we're branching out to a team in Houston, a team out of Las Vegas. Now we have a team in New York. I mean, if I had to guess in this off season, there's probably going to be another team somewhere. But having guys like you, having people be able to open their eyes and find this sport is going to just make it that much bigger. And it's so awesome to see the growth, and having a New York team is great for those reasons. How much of Grid did you watch this season?
Once, I want to say Sam reached out to me sometime in May, right? Because I think I was in school at the time. It was in May, and then I started to watch it. I definitely watched the last season or the last week, and then the playoffs. Those are what I really hungered down to watch. I did go back and watch previous seasons and previous meets, just because I wanted to see what some of the weights were. Because there's some implements that, like the yoke, the farmer's handles, stuff like that, I feel like I could go out there right now and compete and do it. So I just wanted to see what the weights were. Because for stuff like that, like I think the yoke that they were doing was 500 pounds. That's something I feel confident doing right now. It's nothing crazy for me because I've done competition 600-700 pound yokes. So 500-pound yoke I'm excited for. I feel like I could really show what I'm made of and stuff like that. Like I said, the Olympic lifts, I'm gonna work on it. But some of those other implements, I feel like I'm good to go, and that's why I watched some of those other matches. It was more just scouting out and then getting a hold of the rules. One thing I learned is I think communication is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You can have a team full of the best athletes in the league. If they don't know how to communicate, you're never going to win.
Yeah, you don't realize. Well, I guess if you watch, you quickly realize how big communication is, because every match opens up with partner forward, and that is communication at a high level between two players. And there's a verbal communication, but there's almost a nonverbal communication where you gotta go off feel. You gotta trust in your partner to be in a spot before you start, and it just to make it seem seamless. Then you want to go into a mirror match or a mirror race where it is communication, transitioning from quadrant to quadrant, transitioning a barbell from hitting the ground, so you're not penalized. Because if you're penalized in a mirror race, that's pretty much it for you.
Yeah, that's when I found out that there was no rack. When I did the first time 315, when the combine came out, I was like rushing to unrack the weight as fast as can, get my feet settled. And then when I did the actual combine, Sam told me, he's like, "Hey man, there's no rack." I'm like, "Well, how do you do it?" And they pulled it up on the TV. I was like, "Okay,
human rack, baby."
All right, that's something we definitely. I've never done that before, but we're ready to learn it for sure.
When you look at this past season and you think about everything that you've prepared for, what is the biggest takeaway from watching this past season, and seeing a champion crowned and everything that you watch? What's your big takeaway?
The biggest thing I think I learned from the season is that as a team, I think practice is definitely important. Like I said, that communication piece is the most important. I think, like I said, you got the best athletes in the world out there. If we're not communicating properly, we're never going to succeed. And I think it's just finding the best people that fit the role. Even I know one thing I can say is that Sam and Jen and Lexi, they're putting together a phenomenal team. And I know one thing they're looking for is people with character, people that they can see growth in. So I'm sure that there's people out there that, have better Olympic lifts than me. But one thing I can tell you is there's probably no one out there that's going to outwork me.
Bring it, man. I love that, because those are the things, like, you'll see quickly, like, you'll say some things and it'll get people chirping, it'll get people thinking. But you're right, man. The work, what you have to do, and it's not even like the work that you do on a match day. It is all the work preparing for that one individual race, or two races, or maybe three elements that you might do in a match. It's the unseen work. And it just, when you mention that, it gives me goosebumps, man, because that's the kind of stuff that gets me fired up. Like, yeah, performance on the grid matters, but it's going through social media, watching what people are doing in the off season, watching how they're preparing. Like, that's the stuff where I'm like, man, like, this is why this sport is great. When you think about this upcoming season, obviously there's a lot of time, and it's going to go quick. But what would you say, and this might change as the season gets closer, but for you personally, for this first season, what would you say is your goal, your personal goal? Move team aside, just Brandon Ferraro, first season as a rookie in the Grid League. What is your goal for yourself?
All right, so I got 3 goals, right? We're gonna start humble and then we're gonna shoot high. Okay. Goal number 1.
Let's go.
Not having the Olympic lifts down right now, where they're not my forte. I want to crush an Olympic lift ladder, whatever it is, whether it's snatch or clean and jerk, whatever it is, right? That's goal number 1. Goal number 2, as an individual, I want to win a ringer race. I want to win one, right? As a rookie, I think it would be great. Goal number 3, right? I know Wes Kitts, he's an Olympic athlete, went to the Olympics, right? I want to,
yeah,
I want to face him.
Good.
I want to beat him.
Oh.
I want to beat him. I want to beat him. That's I'm shooting for the stars on that one, right? There's nobody. I got like 10 followers on social media, all right? I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat him. I'm saying that now. I'm going to put that in fruition, all right?
There you go. Hey.
I want to say, hey, it's all fun and games, right? I respect the dude. He's an amazing athlete, right? This is friendly banter here. Yeah, man, I think it would be great, just some of these athletes are professionals in their sport, right? And what those guys do is to make the Olympics is crazy, right? So he deserves all the respect for the work he put in the craft. But to get the opportunity to even go up against someone like that, God willing, I get that opportunity. That's something I'm not going to take lightly. So,
definitely. I mean, you can't. That experience alone, like, that's worth its weight in just taking a leap and being on the team, is having an opportunity to do something like that. Because what other sport could you go and just go, hey, I want to take on an Olympian?
Absolutely.
There's not. This is it, when let's talk about now the team. When you look at the team and expectations for the team and a goal, what would be, or maybe Sam and Lexi have talked about this, but what would you say is the goal for the team in this first season?
To win. I mean, that's it. We're not out there to do anything else than that, right? If you're not out there to win, why even be out there? They put together a phenomenal team. The announcements are trickling out. There's some great people that they still haven't announced. And I'll leave that to them. But it's to win. Absolutely. I think we're going to be overlooked as the rookie team. Absolutely. Hoping, I know they're trying to get some veterans on the team as well for some knowledge base, which I think is key. But yeah, it's absolutely to win, 100%. I don't know why we'd be out there if it wasn't.
Well, your boy James, he said, "You're the man. B, you are the man." So obviously you have some fans out there. You have, not any pressure, but obviously you have some things that you're looking to obtain for this first season. Before we get out of here, the big question, I guess, is from now until match 1, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you working on? Weaknesses? Like, is there one thing or two things that you're working on in particular? I know you mentioned the Olympic lifting, but knowing what your specialty is and kind of what grid is all about now, what do you foresee you having to really hone in and focus on as far as working on for the off season?
Speed for sure.
Yeah.
Take like the mirror, like the 315, right? Um, I've been training lifting heavy for so long. I think I need to. I've already started it. I got to switch up my training. I don't think it doesn't matter if I go out there and squat 600 pounds, right? It matters how fast I can move 315. So that's where I really need to train at. I'm a huge deadlift advocate. I love deadlifting. That's kind of off the table for now for a little bit as well. There's really no need for it. I don't see a world in grid where I need to be pulling 600 pounds for reps, right? That's not the nature of the business anymore. So it's definitely speed, the yoke, the farmer's handles, sandbags, the Olympic lifting, some kettlebell work in case I ever get called for that. That's kind of where my focus is.
What does that alter how you train, knowing that, okay, I've got to move 315 fast. I don't need to move 600. Like, does that completely alter like how you typically train on a day-to-day basis, or
it does? Yeah, it does. I had to revamp some stuff for sure. Because even then, with some of like the breaks I take, I usually take longer rest times because I'm under heavier weight. All that stuff has changed. Even like the Olympic lifting, I added to. This was actually my first week I ever power cleaned or snatched in a workout program. So all that's changing, and I feel like for stuff like that, it just goes to show how serious I'm taking this and how serious the team is taking this. Like, everybody's getting after it now. We're not waiting as it gets closer. Everyone is starting now. We're working on our weaknesses, getting better at them, and we're working on our strengths and making them better as well.
Is it difficult to modify how you train? Because I know some people, when they take a focus, like some people are like, I got to get stronger, and so their training kind of is modified and they focus on a lot of strength, or they're like, I got to get my endurance up, so the strength portion takes a hit. But when athletes do those types of things, they really have a tough time because they really like one or the other, and now they have to not do that to do the other. For you, is it hard for you to know, well, I got to train differently?
No, it's actually the opposite. I was telling my wife the other day, the last couple of months I've been going to the gym. And gym's a huge thing for me. I go Monday through Friday. It's great for my mental health. It's like my break. To me, it's the time in the world for the gym goers. They can probably agree, where like everything else just shuts off, right? I felt like the last couple of months I've been just going through the motions, but I've had nothing really to kind of motivate me besides just me wanting to go. This lit a fire under me that I haven't had in a long time. So I don't care that my training has to change. I'm fired up to do it. So I'm excited. I'm telling you, it's the energy and a motivation I had in a long time.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think that there's no, like, in a training mentality, there's no better feeling than when you get in that rut of, like, you're kind of just going through the motions, and you need to do something new, but you don't know what it is, and then you find that new, like that motivation and that feeling that you get. Like, there's nothing greater than that. Like, when you're training, when you have that new sense of motivation to this new goal. um I equate it to, like, I was doing CrossFit for the longest time, and then all of a sudden I was just like, I want to do something different, so I trained for a marathon. And then while running, I hadn't run more than maybe 3 or 4 miles in one given setting prior to training for that. I was still pretty excited to do something different. So I think I can feel it in you when you talk about, like, that's what you needed, because I can resonate with that. But last question before we get out of here. We got some football on finally Thursday night. Got the Cowboys, got the Eagles. So
I picked the Eagles tonight with the points, by the way. No hard feelings.
No, it's fine. Like, if you're looking at spreads and you're looking at the debacle that is the Dallas Cowboys offseason, I don't blame you. I picked the Eagles in my pick 'em this week anyway, so I tend to hedge my bets that way. But what is Lexi saying to the team? What is the message from the coach? What is like what's going on like with the team right now?
I think the team, everybody's in high spirits. This is new for everybody. Right now, I want to say the 3 announcements they've made, if I'm correct, we're all rookies, right? And I think I don't know every athlete that's signed or yet to be signed or what they have up their sleeve, because I know knowing Sam and them, they probably got something crazy up their sleeve. But I'm going to assume it's a large, predominantly rookie team. But everyone's motivated. The energy level is high. And right now, we're just having fun and enjoying the moment. I think we're going to ride this high for a little bit and then, understand we need to hunker down and get to work. But right now, we're just excited to be here. And I think so far, everyone's just grateful. I think that's the biggest thing. I think, like I said earlier, never a position I thought I'd be in. I never thought I'd be signed to a professional organization, right? So I'm just grateful that I'm be here.
I mean, this is an awesome time for you guys because the league, players in the league, despite what they will say to your face, they are intrigued in what the Wolves are doing. And I say that because I've talked to a lot of players, and one of the things that they say is they may not put a whole lot of emphasis on, like, I'm not worried about them, this and that, but they are intrigued with what are they going to pull out? Like, who is going to show up on match 1, because they know that there are going to be athletes there.
Oh, I know. I already got some people from the league following me, so
yeah.
I see it.
I'm telling you, it's one of the things that's not talked about enough, and that's what is seen from athletes on social media by their opposition. The opposition will look at you and study you, and everything is under a microscope, man. But it's awesome, like, because you guys are kind of the new folks on the block, and you're kind of unheard of, and you can ride that wave until match 1. And if you kick a lot of ass, then you're going to put people on notice, and then you become a problem.
So Dan, real quick, let me put you on the spot here, right? Let's turn the tables, right? What are your expectations for us for season 1?
So when I look at who the owners are, the coaches, and now I'm starting to learn a little bit about the players, and this assessment is based on me meeting you, and I know one player, and I've talked to Jordan. I'm going to have her on, but just what I know, I think for you guys to fill a team, to be competitive and win, if you were to win 2 matches, I would say that is astoundingly a very successful season.
Okay.
If you won 1 match, I would say it's still a success. If you didn't win any, I would say you got work to do, but I would still call it a success on a lower end, because it is very hard to put together a team. It really is. And when you put together a team full of rookies, there's 2 things that are very difficult. One, it's piecing together the right people that can communicate and be a team, but also it's that whole newness and speed of the sport that nobody knows. But I think if I look back and I saw you guys in the playoffs, like, I wouldn't be shocked by that by any means. But I would say, I think if you went 500 in the league this year, I would say that you guys did an great job, like amazing job. Just because I know how difficult it is to win. It is very hard. But now
it's funny you say the speed thing. That shit it goes fast, man. Watching that,
it does.
I watched it on YouTube, right? I could imagine how much faster it is in person. It's like, are you a hockey fan, or do you watch hockey?
Yeah. Yeah.
So hockey on TV versus hockey in person is drastically different, right? So I can only imagine how much faster this stuff is in person than over the TV.
Yeah, I mean, you don't realize, one, on TV everyone looks big, but you don't really realize that these guys are on 4 inches of skate, like 6'2", two dudes are now 6'6", and they're rolling around the rink at 30 miles an hour, just laying into folks. And on top of that, you've got shift changes on and off that are just happening seamlessly. Those are the things you don't see on TV.
Correct.
But yeah, I'd say grid is very similar to a sport like hockey, where you're having shift changes in the middle of what's going on, and you've got to play your strategy into those changes. So, yeah, it's intense. It's speed, and you know, Mather will tell you fast action is what grid is, and that's speed in its essence, man. And for you guys, I think if you figure out that recipe quick, I think you guys will be super successful. But I think having a team together early, which it sounds like you guys have put together a team very early, practicing and getting out there and doing it is going to benefit you guys a lot when it comes to match one. So I'm excited, Brandon. I really am. I you know, when you talk to Sam, you talk to Alexa, you talk to Jen, the passion that they talk about this team is just it's palpable. It's different. So very much looking forward to seeing what you guys got. Now I'm ready for a ringer, a yoke carry race ringer with you, so we can see you pick up that first dub, man.
Let's go, baby. Put me in, coach. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm super excited, man. I'm really looking forward to get out there. I know the jitter. I just want, you know what it is? I want it to be here already, because I need that, like, that. It's like the first day of school, you know, the jitters you got.
Yeah.
Because I've competed before, but it's going to be a whole new experience.
Yeah.
And I know the nerves are going to be there for sure.
They'll be short-lived. As soon as you get out there and race one is over in 1 minute and 22 seconds, you're going to go, oh, okay, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Absolutely.
I'll leave you with this. This is what Sam's thought is. They're going to be like, who's this guy? The league is going to wonder, who's this Brandon Ferraro guy? Where did he come from? So what does it mean? What does it mean to you to have Sam say something like that to you about you?
Sam's my guy, man. I mean, I got to tell you, Sam's a great dude. And he's just, outside of this too, one thing I can say, you know, as a father and a husband, there's certain people that I look up to, right? And now my kids are young. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. So now a lot, you know, I definitely respect a lot of fathers who are there for their kids, who are active. And I gotta tell you, between Sam's, like, I don't know, he's some sort of doctor. I don't know what he really does, but he, like, operates on people, right? He runs a full-time competition, which I can say is probably the best. This is the best competition I've ever been to. He's doing this on top of it. You know, he's just someone to look up to. You know, for Sam to say that to me, man, it means the world. We have a very good relationship, but I can tell you, you know, with all that friendship me and Sam have, man, you know, the one thing I love about him is still holds me accountable. You know, which is the one thing that you gotta love. You know, being in the military, you know, I love accountability. You know, so when I'm messing up, you know, he's there to keep me in track. So that's always a plus as well. So I respect him for that.
You guys got a lot of work on your plate, but I think you guys are ready. I think your team is coming together. I mean, I think over the next few weeks, we're going to see everybody that's been signed. And right now it's a lot of rookies, but I would imagine that once the this period is over, where you see who's available that have played in the league, I'm sure Lexi will probably want to try to look at that list as well. But I'm excited for you, Brandon. I wish you the best of luck, man, this season. If there's anything this offseason I can do for you, reach out to me.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you for taking the time on, man. And I'll when I win that first yoke race, you know, make sure to grab me on the sidelines, all right?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I got you. That is Brandon Ferraro, the string specialist of the New York Wolves. If you like hearing Brandon's story, or you just like hearing Average Joe's talk X's and O's, please like, share the podcast on Facebook. Go to X, retweet, do all the things that you do on there. I don't really put a lot of stock in that. There's a lot of negativity out there. I just don't got time for it, but I will post the audio episode on Spotify there. If you really want to engage in conversation, 2 places: Instagram at Grid and Grind Show, or YouTube in Off the Bench Podcast. Hey, a lot out there, a lot going on. Appreciate Brandon for joining us. We've got a lot in store. Starting tomorrow, I'll be headed over to, Jason Fitness Media. I mean, we got old Jason. He's bringing me on his show, Plate Stack Chat. We're going to recap the 2025 season. We got a lot of folks that are going to be there. 6 p.m. tomorrow. Don't miss it. At 6 p.m. on the East. I don't even know what time it is where Jason will be, because it'll be really late for him. I'm shocked, but I appreciate him having us on and recapping it. It'll be a lot of fun. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Be good, be safe, and as always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.